excited that you are my guest today. I just wanted to touch base with you because you've had some huge transformations in your business and in your personal life over the last year. And I wanted to get on here and let you share all of these things to help hairdressers grow and to be profitable behind their chair. So you are the perfect person to do this with because you've had so many gains this past year. And I just thought it'd be great to have you on here and you share that with us.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we did take a stab at this a couple weeks ago and we lost the recording. So we're going to redo it. So
Sure.
Let's just get started with, why don't you introduce who you are and where you're from and how long you've been doing hair and where you work.
Okay. So my name is Lexi Solis. I am out of Lubbock, Texas. I have been a hairdresser for 15 years. I'm married. I have children, dogs. We've recently added a cat and a fish. So life is full. I have worked at a commission salon. I've done booth rent, and I've even owned my own salon for a time being. So with that, I feel like I've had a lot of different experiences and perspectives on just the hairdressing industry itself.
Yeah, right. You've worn many hats in this industry. Yeah. Let's talk about how we met.
Or actually, I was invited by one of my really good friends. She used to be our color educator at the salon. So she had asked if I would like to join a class called Living with Intention Behind the Chair. And she hosted this at her salon. And so I made a 2-hour drive to her salon to go check it out and see what it was all about. And that is when I met you. And you've just been in my life ever since.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I just want to take everybody back to where you were in your career when we met at the beginning of 2019. Like your mindset, as far as your business, how you felt behind the chair, the type of income you were making behind the chair. Let's just kind of step into where you were then.
And I would just double book myself back to back. Being a working mom, life is really busy and fast paced. And so I would start work and then I pretty much wouldn't stop until the end of the day. So I want to say I had all these things kind of going through my head throughout my appointments. So being actually like present, physically I was there. Mentally, I was kind of thinking about my checklist throughout the day and my checklist for after the day. I just felt really pressed for time. Most of it, I wasn't really suggestive selling my add-on services to my clients. I wasn't stopping to eat or stretch or rest like during the day. So I was almost headed to a point of burnout. That's kind of like where I was. So I knew at some point I needed to like take a step back and really reevaluate like what am I doing and why am I doing it?
Right, right. And you know, that's really where a lot of hairdressers get in their career. You get so bogged down behind the chair, you're getting people in, you're getting them out. It's just like hustle bustle and we aren't present with them. So that's a very familiar story. And I used to be that girl as well. And so that's why I was so happy to hear all of the things that have happened with you since then. Because you took the Living with Intention behind your chair. We'll just kind of go through the class and what we talk about and you from your experience. So in the beginning of the class, we talk about the defeating voices that we carry around in our head. So which affects us behind the chair. So let's define like what the defeating voice is. It is your internal dialogue or your internal speech that's always there for everyone. Everyone has it. Psychologists call it your inner dialogue, inner speech. Well, unless you become aware of it and what it's saying to you, it actually directs your entire life. And a lot of those voices are defeating. They're not powerful voices that move you towards what you really want. So you can make all the goals and you can set, you know, all these action plans and all these things. But if you always have that defeating voice with you, you're going to end up right back where you started. So what were some of your defeating voices that you would have behind the chair as you were working?
My main one was, I don't have enough time. The second one was, she probably doesn't want to hear about the product. She's purchasing her retail at a different store. She's getting her waxing services elsewhere. So why do I need to offer it? You know, like I already know that she's going to go somewhere else. Those were the things that I was telling myself. Even with my social media and posting things, like, I don't really know if I want to post that because to me, it doesn't really look that good. Again, I'm just mentally psyching myself out, and it's taking away from all of the opportunities that I could have made present. I could have maximized my time. I could have maximized my effort with my client. But for the most part, that little voice just tells you can't, or that you don't have time. So for me, it was time.
Yeah, exactly. And I see that all the time, you know? And that's what's so important, is that you have to understand, when that defeating voice is constantly going, you're not even taking action, because you don't even get to that point because the voice has already talked you out of it, right? So we make that distinction in the class. We talk about what they are first, and we transform them, and we give you like 4 or 5 different exercises to help you become aware that they are there, because it's not like they go away, but once you become aware of it, you can quiet them, and then you can start taking the actions that you need to take to achieve the goals you want to achieve. So what's great about that is once you're aware of that, then what we do is we go into, what is it that you really want? What is it that you want to create inside of your career? And we also talk about personal and professional. You know, if you take the class, you can work on both personal and professional development in this class. But specifically for hairdressers, we talk about, you know, what type of clientele do we want? How much money do we want to make? What do we want our hours to be like? We literally paint the picture of what is that perfect scenario that we want to live. And everyone's is different. Not everyone wants the exact same thing. So that's what's great about it, is that you can create your own vision. Right? So when you created your vision, what were some of the things that went through your head that you were wanting to create for your business?
I know for me personally, like, I wanted to be a 6-figure hairdresser. It's easy to say it, but I didn't really have a clear action plan on how I was going to get there. Another one for me was, I don't want to work 40 hours a week behind the chair and be so exhausted at the end of the day that I can't have time with my kids or with my husband. And again, those defeating voices tell you you're going to lose clients if you change your schedule. So for me personally, a lot of my goals were just general. I wasn't extremely clear about them, and I didn't have a clear action plan on how I was going to achieve them. It was just really easy to say, well, that's what I want.
Right. And again, a lot of people do that, Lexi. It's not like you're alone in that. I mean, if you look, everyone in the class is going through the same process. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I really got to figure out what I want. So we create that. We have you guys write it down, or you ladies write it down. And then we also have you create a vision board of what it is that you want. Because as you know, as hairdressers, we're very visual, right? So it's just like making a mood board if you're getting ready to do a hair show. Or if you're wanting to create some type of photo shoot, we have that mood board or that vision board of what it's going to look like. So we actually create that for our career as a hairdresser. And so then we talk about, how do you achieve it? So we create that clear action plan, and we actually go into your life and look at the resources you have and the connections you have to make all of these things start to happen. And then we look at, how do you generate that income, right? So that's the big thing. How do hairdressers create that income? Working less hours, right? But you're going to make more income, and using the clientele that you have, right? So what were those things for you? What were the action steps that you started taking behind your chair that, you know, our audience here watching us today can start taking behind their chair?
One was to put a little bit of boundaries on the times that I actually start work and the times that I stop work. Looking into tracking my numbers. What exactly am I doing with each client? Is it a color? Is it chemical? Is it waxing? Am I asking to do or offering treatment? Those little things add up. So just really being intentional about communicating with my client the services that I actually do offer, instead of just assuming that she's not going to want to hear about it. Taking the time to communicate effectively the features and benefits of the retail that I'm using. Again, not assuming that they're going to go somewhere else and buy it. I really needed to change the way that I spoke to my clients to inform them so they knew, because as hairdressers, we only offer 2 things, that's service and retail. And so when you cut yourself short of those, you're cutting your income. Another thing was I actually did move salon environment, which freed up some of my time in between customers. So I was able to fit more people in and then maximize my service dollars and my retail dollars to generate more income working less hours.
Right. That's the thing, is we can only offer two things: it's services and products. And if you're not talking about one or the other, you're literally cutting your income in half sometimes, because there's a lot of potential there of the income you can make when you're offering both of those services. They're both services, in my opinion, to your clients. Retail is part of the service. But that is a missed opportunity. And then we also talk about, how do you sell retail? We talk about the conversation that you have and why you're doing it and what to say and when to say it. So those are all things that are in this class that really helps you get clear and set the intention. This is when I'm going to start speaking about this.
Right.
And there's a reason why you have to do it that way. So it's great. You started implementing all these things, right? You started offering your services, you started offering the retail. And the main thing that we talk about is to truly have your client's best interest at heart. Don't offer them anything that they don't truly need. It needs to be what is it that you can truly do for your client to make their hair look good and feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start doing that and you have integrity in what you're doing, clients feel that, and they feel like you do care about them and they want to come back to you. And that's when you start seeing that they start talking good about you. They start telling people about you. You start getting all these referrals because you're making them look good and feel good through your products and services. And plus, you're just a great person. You talk to them and you get to know them about their lifestyle and their family and friends and all that. But really, it's that we have the gift of touch, right? And people open up to you when you touch them. And when they know you have their best interests at heart, they're going to stay with you. They're not going to leave you, because that's a really hard thing to find. Someone who's really technically skilled, and oh, by the way, they're making my hair look good, feel good. They have my best intentions at heart. My hair, I know how to style my hair when I get home. Like, all of these things make a difference in you being that go-to hairdresser for them.
Also taking it by little bits. Sometimes when you want to achieve a big goal, that action plan is so important because it walks you through the small steps. And after you've done so many small steps and you look back, you realize you've actually made a lot of progression. And so just keeping my mindset in that, like, one thing at a time, instead of trying to fit it all in at once. Because for me, like, if I get really overwhelmed, then I tend to have that defeating voice, like, this is too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Out. And so the action plan part of it was really important for me.
Yeah, so we put that in everyone's calendars, and this is what you're going to be doing. And it literally is a step-by-step program that helps you get to where you want to be. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But by you having a plan and you stick to the plan, that's when it works. And that's the first thing I say in the class, like, hey, look, I'm going to be the catalyst today for change for you. But when I walk out of here, you have to be your own catalyst. I'm showing you the way. There is no secret to success. I'm just showing you what has worked for me and many other hairdressers in the industry. So as you know, I've had many mentors, and I definitely listen to what they say. And that's what this class is about, is like sharing everything I could possibly give you to truly create what it is you want behind your chair. So let's look at your emotional state now and your physical state now. How do you feel 1 year later, even through this pandemic right now? How are you feeling 1 year later, like really after this class? How do you feel? Because I know now it's crazy. You're making even more money now than you were before.
Working full time. Yeah. So COVID for me was, that was hard, just mentally and emotionally, because I always had a job since I was 15. So all of a sudden to be told just to abruptly stop, like, freaked me out.
Yeah.
And then, you sit in limbo for a little bit, but then I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to make sure that I finish everything on my action plan, have a plan to restart, utilize those tools. Okay, so we can't work. Fine. we can still
Mm-hmm.
offer retail. There is still a way to make money if you're not behind the chair. And so I took a few classes to just build up on my Instagram, and I really tried to use that platform, since I couldn't be socially connected with my
Mm-hmm.
clients in person, to be socially connected on media, to still tell them like, hey, yeah, there's an interim, but we can still implement home hair care, which helped me still have some kind of income in between that. Um, it Starting back, I didn't feel so overwhelmed because I had time to work on my internet website to communicate effectively with my clients, like what my plan of action was going to be returning to the salon.
Mm-hmm.
And then having all of that collective of how to maximize your time, because when we returned, we were only working half our hours and we were only able to see half of our clientele. So it really made me stick to being intentional. Like, okay, we're going to book your appointment today. This is everything I offer. These are all the products that I have. What exactly are we needing moving forward from this appointment? And I mean, it was great. Like, I had a really good turnout. My clients have been very patient and very loyal. And so I feel like all of the little things that I've done over the past year set me up for
Mm-hmm.
success to return, even though we have this financial pandemic and social
Right.
pandemic. So I was really, really thrilled.
So yeah, if we look at where you were last February of 2019, you were selling $68 a month. February of 2020, you sold 322. So that's a significant increase. Now, just in May, you sold $765. Like, it is increasing, and that's the thing. Like, you didn't get there overnight, and it takes time to really hone your skills and new things besides the great cut and color, right? You're honing your skills in communication. You're honing your skills in to stop being the quiet defeating voices. You're honing in your skills on how to track your numbers. So like, we wouldn't have been able to look at your numbers if you wouldn't have started tracking them, right? And so you don't know how you're progressing unless you have a measurement, and that's tracking your numbers, and that's why you have to do it. We have to remember we're running a business behind our chair, and we have to know those numbers if we want our business to grow.
Right.
Right? Yeah, so that was awesome. I loved hearing that. Like, your retail sales have gone up, and then also your service dollars have gone up. So from January of 2019, you said, and to January of 2020, you have consistently met your goal. And I think you said more than half the time, you've actually gone $1,000 to $2,000 over your goal
Yeah.
every month. So that is awesome. I'm so proud of you for that. Emotionally and physically, how are you feeling?
So that was another thing, taking off of work for 7 weeks. You don't realize like all the muscles and everything that you use in your shoulders and your hands.
Yes.
So upon returning, it took a little while to get used to that physically and just wearing the mask. But mentally and emotionally, I am excited to go to work every day. I am ready to tell my clients, like, hey, these are all the new things that I've kind of like spruced up on. Let's talk about it. And it's great. It
Mm-hmm.
makes time go by really quick. They seem really happy to be back. I'm happy to have my client back in my chair. Overall, I'm really happy with where I'm at
Yeah,
now.
that's great. And you're working less than 40 hours now, right? You're not working
Yeah,
that
I'm
full
not
time.
working near as many hours as what I was last year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so now you created a new vision board, you said, right? So tell us about that.
So my first vision board was a little scattered. It was everywhere. Like I said, it had a lot of general ideas on it. I remember coming home and showing my husband, and I have this bright yellow poster board, and he's like, "What is it?" And I'm like, "It's a vision board." And he's like, "What's that?" So I was trying to explain it to him, and I asked him if I could put this big yellow poster board up in our bedroom, and he was like, "Well, you're always at work. Why don't you put it at work? Like, that's where you're probably going to see it more than you will at home." Because
Mm-hmm.
again, I was working more than I was at home. So I did. I put my vision board over there. And when I moved salons, and at the beginning of this year, I had asked him if we could make a vision board together. And so it was really interesting to see this one. I actually have it in the front of my hall and of our entryway. And so he and I both get to see it, and it's pretty detailed for the most part. And it's pretty amazing when you see all the things that you put on there become present in your life. And so it's been kind of profound watching that and just seeing where that first one was, the transition of the new one.
Right. Yeah, it works. I mean, some people are like, vision board, what? That's crazy. You don't need it, but I'm telling you, it works. Every person that has taken that class and that it stays consistent with that, they create their vision. They're having to create more vision boards and more goals because they're achieving them so quickly. Because when you see it every day, it programs your brain to bring it into your world, because your brain and your mind works where it doesn't know if it's true or not. It's programmed to give you whatever you put in it. So if you're putting into your brain that, hey, this is what I want, this is what I want to create, it will find a way to create it for you. And it's just a constant reminder. You look at it and say, okay, what I'm doing today, is this truly living with intention towards what I say I want? And it really helps you become aware of the actions that you take throughout the day really aren't benefiting you. It's kind of like a temperature check, like, hey, this is not what I said I wanted. So it's just another reminder to keep you on track. Talk about maybe the Practice Now, Profit Later class that you just took. What were some of your takeaways from that?
So the Practice Now, Profit Later worked a lot on the soft skills. I think as hairdressers, being a progressive and ever-changing industry, we're always trying to work on our technical skills as far as like what's the new haircut, what's the new color, that I think sometimes we forget. What are the skills to listen? What are the skills to effectively communicate? And so just kind of finding that balance between the two, that class really helped me understand that soft skills just aren't about speaking. Again, they are about time management. They still incorporate goal setting and just how to listen from a different perspective. Understanding the mindset of what your client's in when they sit in your chair, and understanding my mindset as a hairdresser behind the chair, and how to effectively make those two combine.
Right. Yeah. So you just took that one, I guess, a month ago. That was a class that I created during the whole pandemic. And now I actually am offering it on digital format online. And I'll put the link at the bottom here. So if you want to take that class, that's available now. And it's called Practice Now, Profit Later. And we really go over the soft skills behind the chair. It's not just about the cut and color. This is about your communication with your clients, how you communicate about your business. And it creates a way for clients to know what they're getting into when they come to you as a business owner. So it's important that we talk about our safety and sanitation guidelines, that we talk about our hours of operation, our cancellation policies, referral programs, our price increases. All those things are covered in this class. And then also communication in your consultation skills. It's so important to know what questions you're asking and why are you asking each question. Because if you're getting lost in your consultation, you really can lose the whole experience for you and the client. So we really dive in deep about the consultation skills, what you're asking, why you're asking, how to listen to them, how you speak to each client differently. All of these things are covered inside of that module of communication. And then the second thing we go over is your time management, which really helped you, Lexi, you said. So we talk about, setting those boundaries and communicating with your clients about the timing, how to set yourself up for success from the moment you walk into the salon till you leave. So we go over all those things inside of the time management module. The last one is about work ethics, which is so important. We have to really, if you're just walking in work and you're just winging it and just working and get them in, get them out, you're really not intentionally setting up what are your work ethics. And this is really going to create the foundation for what people connect to when you're running your business. So we look at different work ethics that have worked for me in my life, and then you can create your own. So we give self-assessments on all of these subjects so that you can go through and see where is it that you really need to focus inside of your business. So I'm glad that really helped you. So that's the idea. There's so much we've learned over the years doing hair, and I think it's so important we share it, and that's what this education is about. And I love it that I see you, Lexi, sharing it with other hairstylists now in your own business.
For sure. It's definitely made me have a different perspective on hairdressing. And, my main message is we are an ever-evolving industry. And so it is okay to change your method and to change your approach. I think COVID was a perfect example of enforcing new changes, and how are we going to implement them, and how are we going to prepare for them. And so all of these classes in hindsight that I was taking last year just helped me facilitate all of that to be successful coming back. And that's invaluable. I mean, it's so valuable to me. I would not trade it for the world.
Yeah. Well, it's showing, girl. You're looking good, and you're working less hours. You're making more money. You got your family on board, creating new things. So I'm super excited to hear all these things. And I'm, you know, my hope is that by us sharing the story, that it'll inspire other hairdressers to realize that they can have whatever it is they want to create behind their chair. They just have to do it with intention.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Any last words before we go?
It's just never too late to start. So if you're ready, make your action plan, be present.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, girl. Well, I appreciate you joining me again. And I can't wait to work with you in the future. Hopefully we get to see each other in person.
Hopefully soon. We'll see.
I know. All right. Well, you have a great day, and thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate it. Leave your comments below, and you can always contact me. Just DM me or personal message me, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you. And again, I'll put the link below if you want to take any of my virtual courses. I would love for you to be one of my students. And Lexi, thank you for your time. I totally appreciate you.
Yes, it was fun. Thank you.
Thanks.